Okay, friends, we have begun a unit on tall tales, and one of the most important features of tall tales is that they have an exaggeration, something that describes something about the character or the events in the story that are much bigger than you might expect them to be. Usually much, much bigger in kind of a totally unexpected way. So our first tall tale was Pecos Bill. And we know, based on our understanding of tall tales, this is usually about a person who does something amazing. They stand out as being very strong or very gifted in amazing ways. So Pecos Bill, as we figured out from looking at the picture, is some kind of cowboy. So I'm going to, in fact, the subtitle says One Wild Cowboy. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is told as if Pecos Bill were talking to you. The name's Pecos Bill, and cowboys wouldn't be cowboys without the likes of me. So basically he's saying, I was like the first cowboy, and everybody did their cowboyness after me. As a baby, I teased on my daddy's Bowie knife. Instead of a teething ring, he was chewing on a knife. And wrestled varmints for fun. Varmints refers to wild animals. One day, my family was traveling across the country in a covered wagon, the way many people did on their quest to find their fortune in the West. So he was traveling from some place along this way, going west towards California. Somewhere near the Pecos River in Texas, which is an important thing to remember about the setting, I bounced right out of the back of that wagon. A mama coyote snatched me up and raised me with her brood. So he was raised by a coyote instead of a human mom. Obviously, it took a while to learn I was a cowboy and not a coyote. But when I did, I started working as a cowhand on a ranch. Well, our ranch was suffering from a terrible drought. We said that a drought was a period of time when there was no rain. So it was dry. The grass was drying up. The animals had nothing to eat or drink. People had nothing to eat or drink. So I took my horse, Widowmaker, and I started out to find a rain cloud. So he's looking around to find something that looks like a cloud that might bring rain to the land. Soon I came upon a whirling cyclone, which is another term for a tornado. I knew if I could ride that wild horse, a tornado was no trouble. So his horse is a very wild, bucking bronco kind of horse. And so he's saying that if I can handle that horse, I can handle a cyclone as well. I roped that cyclone, so if you can imagine, he's got like a lasso like cowboys have, and he swung his lasso at the cyclone and he caught it. Now we know that you can't catch a tornado, it's wind and water, but he says he caught it. And not only that, and started riding right to the ranch. So he's riding on a tornado. Now we know this is an exaggeration. We know that he's talking about something that's very impossible. And on the way, I squeezed out the rain with my lasso all over the Southwest. So he's claiming that he was riding on the tornado and squeezing his lasso, his rope. And what was happening was the rain was being squeezed out by the rope. I left a mighty deep trail along the way, too. Folks call it the Grand Canyon. And I showed pictures of the Grand Canyon so that you could have a sense of just how huge the Grand Canyon was. So once again, that's another exaggeration. Pecos Bill was talking about how strong he was. He was strong enough to ride a cyclone, to ride on a tornado. He was able to control a wild horse. And yesterday we watched a video in which we saw Pecos Bill also captured a whole bunch of bad guys all at once, caught him with a rope, and took him in for justice. And We also saw that he was able to wrestle with a bunch of vultures, wrestle so hard, and the cartoon showed that all their feathers came off. So, supposedly, he's a very strong guy, and he did some amazing things that were exaggerated. So, at this point, you're going to tell me where it took place. You're going to tell me who the character was, and what do you know about him? Tell me something about him. How would you describe him? Then you're going to tell me an exaggeration you heard in the story. You're going to tell me how he was stronger than other people. And then Pecos Bill had to be strong because there was a problem in the story. So you're going to tell me what the problem was, and then you can tell me how he solved it. All right, enough for now. I'll see you again.